Although it gave me major hand cramps, pen only week was really fun. But now it's time for a washi only weekly spread. Hello again team, it's Jess or JashiiCorrin, and welcome back for my week 28 plan with me. A little later than usual, I am sorry, but today I'll be setting up for the week of the 8th through to the 14th of July. Before we jump into that though, as usual, we're going to have a look at how this week turned out. So as you'll remember from last week's plan with me, for week 27 my challenge was to do a one pen only weekly spread, and this was the product of that one. I did this simple Zentangle pattern all over the page and then left space for my regular events list, a running to-do list, a section for the action steps of my level 10 life, and then this space here for notes. Now as you can see, a fair bit of this is still empty, and that's because this week I just did not come into my journal pretty much at all, which is a real bummer because this is my new journal. This was the first weekly setup in it. But for a couple of different reasons this week, I just wasn't motivated to get in here. Despite that, I really did love this weekly setup. I think it would work quite well for me on a regular week, as it gives me a decent amount of space to write down the things I need to get done. For week 28, I'm going to be changing the style up a little bit, just because I'm now on my mid-year break. As usual, any of the equipment I use is linked in the description box below, and so let's jump into it. Now you can see there is already one piece of washi tape down here. I placed it on the page just to see how it looked like and spacing and stuff, and when I tried to pull it up it started to rip my page, so I thought I would just leave it there. So to start off with, I'm going to go and put down my day of the week washi along this side. To divide each of the sections for my daily lists, I'm just going to use this thin black and gold washi tape. Jumping into our questions from last week's plan with me, our first question comes from Nightmarish666, who asks, how did you come up with your channel name? So JashiiCorrin has been my username for most things since early high school, and it really just comes from my name, first name Jessica, second name Corrin. It's kind of easy to see how Corrin fits into that, but the Jashi part comes from a misspelling that my friend made once and it kind of just stuck. Back in high school, my friends and I studied Japanese, and at the time I would go by Jessie, which in katakana is written as Jeshi. But as I mentioned, one time a friend misspelled that as Jashi, and we kind of just kept running with it. So since then, for pretty much every online account I've ever had, I've gone as JashiiCorrin. Kind of a long-winded story that's probably not that interesting, but I hope that clears that up. And yes, I do realize that the washi I'm laying down here is fairly crooked, but it doesn't bother me too much. The other washi tapes I've decided to use to decorate the rest of this spread are these Crafter's Choice Watercolour washi tapes. These are some of my favourites. You will have seen me use them in quite a few videos before, but I'm going to use these to make a rainbow up the other side of the page. This will then give me a section that's decorative, and then a section that I can write a running to-do list in. Here I'm just laying down my washi strips one after the other, working from the top of the spread down. To make it look like one continuous ripped edge, I made sure that when laying each subsequent piece down, I started ripping the edge from where the last one had stopped. I very roughly tried to leave myself about a half page for my running to-do list here. Our second question comes from Daphne Pratt, who asked, if you could wear one outfit for the rest of your life, what would it be if weather wasn't a factor? So hands down, this would be track pants and a sweatshirt. I appreciate comfort like 20-fold more than actually being presentable. The nice thing about the weather in Wellington is that, for the most part, I can wear that combo regardless of the weather. In more recent years, our summers certainly have been heating up, but compared to the heat I'd experience in Australia, track pants are still very much an option for me here in summer. If I had to be a little bit more presentable, then I'd probably switch the track pants out for my Kmart jeggings, because they're also comfortable, but they look a little bit better. Our third question comes from Creatively Kara, who asked, what made you want to start a bullet journal? Well, I've always been a fan of list making, and since high school I've really enjoyed making and using to-do lists. I really just wanted to start a bullet journal in particular because I loved the way they looked, but then I decided to stick with it because of all the benefits I saw in my productivity and organization once I'd started. Before bullet journaling, I honestly barely remember how I actually get things done. I know that I used to use the to-do list section on my Google Calendar quite a lot, but I'd also like to make a lot of handwritten to-do lists on things like refill paper, which would inevitably get lost before I'd had a chance to complete them. Having lists in a bound book has certainly helped me a lot, and I really appreciate getting to use my journal as a creative outlet. So I have a section for my daily tasks and events, and then a space for a running to-do list. Because it's going to be the first week of holidays, I don't think I'll be having a lot of things to record here. Most of the things that I want to get done these holidays, I'm going to be recording on my holiday to-do list, which I had as part of my monthly setup. Now, although I call this one a Washi only weekly, in terms of writing in my events and to-dos, I will be using a pen for that one. So I'm going to jump in now and write down my tasks and to-dos that I have for the week coming. While I'm writing those in, I'd like to throw Kara's question to you guys. What was it that made you want to start a bullet journal? As I mentioned, I'm a list lover, so bullet journaling is right up my alley. But it was certainly the aesthetic side of things that first got me to try it out. Thank you for watching, and if you liked today's video, feel free to go check out another one. Until next time, bye!